Are we live? Oh no. Well, hello. My audio is good. So, welcome back to the stream. Thank you all so much for joining. I'm right here right now. Chad will be here in just a few seconds. He's having a little bit of an audio issue, but what we're going to be doing for you guys tonight is talking about a lot of really cool topics because obviously we just had SEMA. We have a lot of cool things about that. We have a really good subscriber topic tonight from one of our oldest supporters, Hunter Carroll. Awesome legend. Thank you. All legends, of course. But Hunter's been one of our oldest supporters, and thank you so much, Hunter. And he gave us an amazing topic for tonight: is there really a middle class of car anymore? And I'm going crazy on the I see myself like glitching out here. That's cool. Anyway, he has a great topic about, is there really a middle class car anymore? It seems like there's a lot of cheap stuff out there for entry level and a lot of high end stuff. And his thing was, is there really a middle class anymore? We're going to talk about that. SEMA just happened. SEMA was huge. Obviously, pretty much the biggest automotive show in the world every year. It's the biggest automotive trade show in the entire world. And there was a ton of amazing builds. We're going to talk about best and worst builds of SEMA. We're also going to talk about something that was sort of around SEMA, but not really crazy focused there, was Dodge just came out with two new crate engines. Well, two crate engines. One's the Hellecrate, which I believe is the Hurricrate, sorry, which is the Hurricane engine. As a crate, the 6-cylinder Hurricane engine they just came out with as a crate engine, and the Hellephant, which has now updated stuff. So we're going to talk about that as well. We also have a really interesting topic about not what is, but like automotive marketing as a whole just is really kind of weird. So we're going to talk about two specific examples that have come up recently. Just not great. They're not very good, and it's just really bad. So we're also going to talk about those. And welcome back, Chad. Hello. So those are our four kind of topics of the day. If you want to hear about any of those things or just chat with us, please stick around. We're going to be here for a couple hours chatting with you about cars and what we've seen from car culture in the last week. Chad, hello. You're back.
What's going on? Yes. So SEMA is arguably the one car show that gets me excited now. So I'm really looking forward to talking about. We obviously couldn't cover all of it. Hopefully next year we're there, which I think would be really cool. But we weren't there. But I kind of picked some of the highlights. What we're going to do is I'm basically going to show some of the stuff to Greg, get his reaction, tell him why he's wrong, unless he agrees with me, at which point he's proving to be more and more intelligent every day. And kind of dive into it. But first, let's dive into this topic that there seems to be a lot of cheap cars, a lot of expensive cars, but not so much in the middle.
Yeah, so Hunter, as I had said at the beginning of the broadcast, he's one of our oldest supporters, and he was posting in Shift Squad. Shift Squad is, if you're watching on Facebook, that's our sort of our biggest audience for streaming right now. If you're watching on Facebook, that is our supporter group that you actually donate to us to, and we utilize that money to provide you with more interesting content and just to basically level up what we can do to bring interesting and entertaining things to you. So if you want to do that, you can go to our main Facebook page, which is just Shifting Lanes, and you can hit subscribe. There's a button right on the page. Or Chad, if you don't mind dropping the link in chat, that would be awesome. If you guys want to support us, that would be amazing. It's about, I think it's $5 a month, and basically it buys us a cup of coffee. But more and more people subscribe and support. You get to choose the stream topics as well. That's how Hunter got to pick this stream topic, as he is in that group. We're sharing memes in there. We're talking with you guys. We're going to do meetups in the spring. There's lots of stuff planned for that group. So if you want to get involved and support the channel, but also just be part of the larger Shifting Lanes community, that's the place to do it. And Chad will drop that in chat. But Hunter's topic, to get right to that, is He said, I couldn't come up with a fantastic question, but you all know me. I like industry questions. So, pertaining to the automotive industry, at least in the US, I'm noticing a trend. There are a lot of entry level, affordable, economical options coming into the market, such as the price reduction for the Chevy Bolt, great example, for the 2023 model year. The Ford Maverick, also a great example, entry level mini truck. Those are getting pretty big right now. The Camry and Mustang starting in the mid 2020s, right? With the S550 Mustang coming out in like the mid 2010s, for the redesign, and it was a very affordable sports car, pony car as well. Camry's always been an affordable sedan. Same with the Accord and things like that. But at the same time, manufacturers are releasing a lot of high-end top-tier models or increasing the price of previously available models. He cites the Grand Wagoneer, which comes to mind, the base price of near six figures and sticker prices climbing well over it. And it isn't the only example. We talked previously on the QOM of auto manufacturers globally, with manufacturers putting diamond-stitched leather in minivans and every car coming standard with 14 32-inch displays throughout. Not inaccurate. So the question, with all that said, does it appear to you guys, as well as the mid-tier market, does it appear to you guys that the mid-tier market has come to a hiatus? And I think what he means there is basically, has it come to sort of an end? Is this like peak mid-tier car manufacturer, at this point? With the supply chain barely in the cusp of recovery, can we expect a decrease in price over time, or will manufacturers continue to rake in profits based on a precedent they set during these trying times? Let's discuss. Now, very, very, very interesting topic. Personally, I think that there are sort of two mindsets here. You can look at it from sort of the extremes, which is what Hunter's sort of like talking about, is like there's a lot of entry-level cheap stuff coming in right now. There's a lot of high-end stuff, and the mid-range is sort of, it doesn't seem like it's there anymore, because cars that were in the mid-range, not too long ago, a decade ago, low-end Volvos, low-end Beamers, low-end Mercs, they had like entry-level stuff, but even the 2 Series BMWs, 3 Series BMWs, which used to be sort of attainable, are starting at like 40 grand now, 45 grand, which is like a lot of money. Even Honda Accords and Toyota Camrys are still, they're getting up there. The average price of a new car before the pandemic and before all this inflation was up near 35 grand, which is the highest price that it ever was. After all this inflation and the pandemic, you are getting even more so. And I think it's up near $45,000, $46,000, $47,000 for the average price of a new car, which is categorically absurd. So I think that the new mid-range is sort of this, and Chad and I were talking about this before, is really like the certified pre-owned option. And it's like the used car, like anything that's like 2 or 3 years coming off a lease, getting traded in for a new car or whatever. That's really the new mid-range option, because you can get cars that were optioned out from 40 to 50 grand, and you now have them in a price bracket that is a lot more palatable for that buyer that was interested in them but was way too priced out of the market. So you can get a 3 Series BMW 2 or 3 years removed from the start of a lease for about $30,000, even under, depending, because luxury cars decrease even more. Even Camrys, you can max out a Camry to like 40, 45 grand now. Same thing with an Accord. You can get them way up there. Those 2 or 3 years off lease still going to be low $30,000, which is that right around that mid-range price. So I think that that's really the new mid-level is what you're looking at. No longer new cars, but used cars that are coming off of those 2 to 3 year periods where people are like, should I trade it in? I don't really need this lease. Let's not buy it out. Let's trade it and get another lease. That kind of stuff. So I think that's really like where this is kind of going. But the cheap options are also still good. Yeah, Hunter cited the Ford Maverick, which is a good example of this. But you can still option that thing out for under 30 grand, and it's well equipped, like crazy well equipped, like huge touch screens, lots of luxury features, yada yada yada. and you're still getting a very like, upper scale entry level thing, which is good because that also sort of starts sneaking into that mid-range sort of price for buyers that are looking for, they might be looking for an Accord, but hey, a little truck that has the option to potentially get maybe four people in there if you're, on a good day. But you might be a suburbanite that might need a small pickup truck for Home Depot runs instead of a four-seat sedan. So that's sort of where I stand on that. I think it really depends on, and again, Chad and I were just talking about this, and also Hanson was talking about this before. It all depends on a little bit of perspective. Like, what does this buyer need exactly? Chad, what are you thinking about in this sort of direction?
Um, so I think there's a lot that goes into this, and you really start to dive into, say, the minutia of the auto industry as a whole. But my thought process is on this is I think there's actually a, for lack of a better way of putting it, I think there's been, it's not so, I don't think so much that the mid range is kind of going away. I think it's price wise, I think that's more to do with, you said it was happening before the inflation, but nothing like this to the point where the family sedan is getting crazy expensive. I think again, there's a ton of different factors that play into this. I think the ever growing size of vehicles kind of is misleading. So you said Camry. Well, the Camry's gotten nothing but gotten bigger over the years. So it went from being a mid-size to a full size. Well, that's going to carry an inherent cost increase. The Corolla is bigger than old Corollas. Just using the Toyota kind of landscape. And you see this across the board. Honda, same thing. Anybody who makes cars, you kind of get that size comparison. So you have that. Two, I think there's a, what's the word? I think there's a level of expectation in car buyers that isn't necessarily being met. And I don't know if that's who's to blame for it, but let's put it this way, right? When we were kids, we remember what our parents had, but we don't remember what they had before us, for example. So they might have had a smaller, more economical, more cost-friendly car, but when we knew them, they were later on in life. They had, in theory, or at least with my parents, more success, which means better finances, which means more budget for a car.
Right.
So you end up with a car that has a little bit more upscale features. I also think there's a general trend in the industry to throw as much tech into cars as humanly possible. And now we're reaching a point where if you don't have the simple tech, people like we're obviously very techy as a generation and even as a society. If you don't have tech, it just cheapens the look of the car, and then you don't feel like you're getting value or anything like that. Here's the bottom line. It's hard to sit in this space as we occupy it now and really derive too many conclusions from the market as a whole, because I mean, what was it? 2, 3, 4 years ago, the average car was 36. Now it's 10 to 12 grand more than that. And how much of that is, I think a significant percentage of that is down because everything is more expensive. Supply chain is in the crapper, like all that stuff. So naturally it's harder to get stuff and there's less stuff to get. Therefore, supply and demand dictates higher price. Again, I don't, certified pre-owned vehicles is kind of where it's fallen because you get more for less. Somebody's already paid off the depreciation on a vehicle, even if you get it off of a 2-year lease. Someone's already paid off the depreciation, so you don't have to pay it. So you can get more for that. Like, say your budget's $35K. Obviously something with 20,000 miles on it, it's going to give you more than something with 0 miles. Before we do just hitting chat real quick. Doug says, used to be called the premium market. Merc is dead. Buick advertises that they aren't a Buick, rather they're an Alexa. Volvo abandoned the premium market to move up. The entry level has creeped up into that market, and the Lux keeps moving up. Yes. I also think the car buyer has changed. space, size, cars have gotten, believe it or not, smaller in a sense. When you think about the land yachts that used to occupy the road 20, 30 years ago. And again, auto manufacturers have also figured out if they can be premium, they can charge more money. Or you can just do what Alan says and K-swap it. Yep. It's an interesting topic, and there's so many different little facets and things like that you could really go down a massive rabbit hole with it.
Yeah.
It's
By the way, just two things. Welcome to everyone that's in chat. Thank you for joining. Justin, Hunter, Doug, all you guys that are subscribers to the group, thank you so much. And Hunter, welcome back to the stream. I know it's been a while since you've been on, and thanks for this awesome topic. But Justin goes, remember when Mazdas were relatively cheap? Pepperidge Farm remembers. But yes, that is 100% a great example. Mazdas used to be this Honda, Toyota fighting brand, and now they're priced like still relatively within that range, but they're above a lot of that stuff, which is very interesting. They're trying to position themselves sort of what Doug is talking about with that premium market, and Mazda is sort of the poster child for that premium market rebirth. If that is going to come back around, Mazda is the perfect, poster child for that. They're trying to be that, hey, we're not quite luxury, but we're also not Honda. So they're really trying to get into that sort of mindset. And the problem is Toyota's already there. Toyota's been a very quality brand, and all of their materials have been way up for like 2 decades now. Whether you think that their cars are boring or not, the material quality has, especially in the last 10 years, Toyota has gone like significantly up. So Toyota, I think, is there in that premium market that Doug talked about previously, where what Volvo used to occupy. So we're sort of getting into sort of a new realm where there's no like true cheap entry level option, only entry level options from big car companies now. Subaru used to be a good example of that. They used to make just cheap bargain cars.
Yeah, and I also think the market
they have a $50,000 Subaru now.
I think the buyer is partially to blame. I mean, think about it.
Oh, 100%.
If people weren't buying the stuff with more luxury, for lack of a better way of putting it, car companies wouldn't push it, and then all of a sudden we hit record inflation and wait, everything's too expensive.
Part of that, you're 100% right, and the buyer is to blame for that, because this is one of those, and I've actually touched on this point a lot in the past. Like the car right now, everyone thinks like different things, but the yardstick of civilization right now is transportation. And specifically the car. Most people that are outside of urban environments, outside of cities, we rely on the car to get to work. We've gone to this, a lot of work from home stuff. I'm lucky enough to work from home, which is really amazing. I have been since the pandemic started, and I'm not really going to go back to work anytime soon. I'm here for good. A lot of people are going back to work. That means they need a car to get around, especially in anywhere else other than a city. So in a city, you can get public transportation, subway, bus, taxi, Uber, whatever you want. You're spoiled for options to get around. You can walk, whatever, ride a bike, get a hoverboard. It doesn't matter. Like, you can do whatever you want. Outside of the cities, there's not really another option other than public transportation, like a bus, because there aren't people ride the train, but not as much as buses. Or you buy a car to get around, and most people buy a car to get around. So, at least here in the United States. So, the yardstick of civilization really is cars. So, if you need a car, you have to buy a car, especially if you need to continue working. And there was a great article recently, within the last, 1 to 3 months on either The Drive or Jalopnik or something, that they did a poll and that said, if cars were now 17,600, I think it was that specific figure, If cars were $17,600 more or overpriced, would people still buy them? And the majority of people answered yes. So that just shows you, like, people have to have cars, and they're always going to buy cars because they need them, and they need them to get around, to get groceries, to feed their family, to work, yada yada yada. So you have this infinite feedback loop of, well, I need this car, well, we're going to make it $1,000 more, cool, I'm going to buy it anyway. Well, I need to buy this car again, now it's $2,000 more, now I'm going to buy it anyway. It's now $5,000 more, well, I still got to get around and do all this shit, so I'm going to buy it anyway. So it just keeps going, and where does it really stop is, I don't know, because now you have these people that are getting 9% loans for 84 months on a $30,000 two-year-old Toyota Camry that becomes a $60,000 Toyota Camry by the time the loan is done. So it is this huge convoluted thing now. It is just, we need to, as consumers, we need to just say stop, and we aren't. And that's a huge issue, and that's a larger part of the issue. You're exactly right.
Right, and I mean, so just a couple things. I mean, Justin says, or they could just buy used or keep the one they have instead of buying new all the time. The used car market exists because there was a new car market.
Yeah.
Not to oversimplify it, but here's the thing. The rise of CPO, I think, has this, where you're basically getting a car company or a dealership telling you that this car is good as new, and we will absolutely back it like it is new. I think is huge. I mean, that's a huge value add for me. So I'm still not paying for a new car, but I'm getting all these extra features and stuff like that. And we told the manufacturers by what we bought, what we want, and what we want isn't cheap, especially in a world like, where is it? I forget who asked it. One of you mentioned it, in a world without a chip shortage, which is 100% attributing to a lot of this, but
yeah. Hunter mentioned, I'm sure the chip shortage has attributed to prices, but will they continue? I just lost it. It just re-ragged. What's going on? But will they continue to make massive profits as the supply chain recovers? Yes, for a short period of time, until everything recovers and basic economics kind of kicks back in and everything sort of evens out. But at that point, the damage is done. The floor has been raised. So they'll still continue making record profits until we hit that new floor, which still has been raised, which is still above, the usual 3% cost of living increase. So it's a very convoluted topic,
right?
Because it gets into like the economics of everything as well. But
right, and almost the psychology of a generation.
Middle class anymore? No.
I mean, I also think that that's a commentary. A few things, and then we'll move on, just because.
Yeah.
I like SEMA.
Yes.
I think there's a commentary to be said that, an argument could be made that there's less cars for the middle class because, well, the middle class is getting smaller.
Sure.
One. And two, and the one I really wanted to touch on was Doug's point. China could make a move. They've been wanting to get into the market. Yes, they could, but the most important features in Chinese cars, or to the Chinese buyer, and it's very similar over here with the possible exception being rear legroom, is tech. And tech is kind of, the more bells and whistles you put into something, the more it's going to cost. And I mean, it'd be interesting. I don't think we're long off from seeing a car from China in our market, assuming it's allowed, so to speak. But, it's an interesting topic. It's a topic we could discuss at length, but
yeah.
But I think Jesus, there were a lot more comments since I did that. And tech is more profitable than any other part of the car, Doug. But it's also the number one thing that car people or buyers, car owners complain about is user interface and tech. Like that, more than anything else, that experience defines almost the success of the car. And it's just code and sensors. It is. But again, in a capitalist society, if someone says they'll pay X for something, that becomes the true market value of it.
Yeah.
Hunter goes on Volvo Community News today. We can tune our P2s easily now. A Volvo ECU read flash tool was just open sourced by an unnamed party. Unnamed party earlier today. Check out Open Moose on GitHub. I just pulled my V70R's bin before I joined the stream.
Yes.
I mean,
I know who that is.
you
That
were a
unnamed
PT.
party. I know who that is.
I don't feel like I'm qualified to comment this anymore because I'm no longer one of you Volvoists.
Oh yeah, that's right. You'll hear it here first on stream. Chad has officially sold the C30.
Yep, she is,
and all of our viewership goes away.
But she is paving the way for a lot of horsepower. So
yes, she is paving the way for lots of Mustang muscle.
Muscular muscle Mustangs.
Yeah. Also, speaking of muscle, can we talk about how it's the middle of November? I'm in my garage and I'm in short sleeves, and I'm literally in short sleeve and shorts in my garage. It was 78 degrees here today. Love that.
As a fan of internal combustion, you're welcome.
I gotta love that global warming. Oh, real quick story before we do the SEMA stuff. About this car, which is kind of cool today. So, two things happened.
Hold on, before you get into it, I will be right back.
Okay. So, now I'll get into it. So, two cool things that happened today about this car. For those of you that are on stream and don't know what this is my Volvo V60 Polestar. It's a pretty rare car. Most of you on stream probably know what this is. It's got like 345 horsepower from factory, 369 pound-feet of torque because it's got the 6-cylinder engine in it. And I just put a downpipe on it, and I have a Hilton Stage 2 tune on it that I'm still trying to work out the kinks with the tuner. We're just having a little bit of like a boosting issue, not a huge deal. We'll get the tune dialed in, and it'll be great. But I took the car that's usually sitting right here, which is my wife's XC90, and I dropped it off for some new tires today. Got some new all seasons put on there. And everything was all good by the end of the day. But, you know, my wife needed to go do a couple of errands, so I gave her the Polestar to drive. And she drove it. She likes it. She's not a huge car person, so she wasn't like, ooh, this is really cool. But someone else noticed that it was really cool because one of my neighbors down the road, maybe, I don't know, half a mile down the road before you make the left onto the main road out of my neighborhood, basically was like, hey, stop. And she was like, what's going on? So she rolls the window down and he goes, hey, what kind of tune do you have on that car? It sounds really great. And she's like, yeah, you're asking the wrong person. That you got to ask my husband. We live at 52, blah, blah, blah. Just come find us. And you can talk to my husband. So I thought that was really funny because he like pulled over my wife just on getting out of the neighborhood to compliment the car for one. And then two, the second part of it was my neighbors across the street needed their kids to be picked up from school. So we offered to pick them up. And it's really easy. The school's actually right on the other side of the neighborhood. So I drove over there, parked by the like baseball field, and I would like walk to the school, which was like 100 yards across the baseball field. So on my way back, I got them in, and they're like, "Ooh, it's a cool car and everything," and it was really cute because they're like I think 7 and 5, so they're like, "Oh, this car's cool, it sounds great." But when I got them in the car, this teenager came by who's like lives right across one of the main roads, not even 3 minutes from me, and was like, "Hey, I watch your YouTube channel all the time." And I'm like, "Oh my God, that's so cool." Like I had no idea there was like a person that watched our YouTube channel or anything to do with us anywhere near where we lived. So I thought that was really kind of neat. Like he recognized the car, right, actually over here, there's a shifting lane sticker right there, got it. But yeah, there's a shifting lane sticker on the side, and he noticed it. And he's like, "Hey, I watch your YouTube channel." I was like, "That's so cool." So if you ever see this video, I forget your name. I'm so sorry because it was absolute chaos picking up all the kids today and trying to get the cars all really reshuffled and everything. So, but that was very cool just to have those kind of two experiences within 2 hours of each other. And nothing ever happens like that around here. Like I never see any fans. I've never been pulled over like within 20 miles of my own home. like, hey, I see your stuff all the time. So I thought that was pretty cool. Chad, are you back? He's not back. Okay. So we're gonna move on. Actually, we'll go for some chat comments while Chad is still in there. Justin, I thought the biggest complaint was not enough cup holders. That's always the biggest complaint, especially in sports cars. We need more cup holders in sports cars. Actually, we don't know, but it is always cup holders. Hunter, I know who it is too. Interesting. I'll have to message you after stream to see if it's the same person. Don't worry, snow will be here soon enough. Yes, true. Snow will be here soon enough. And I unfortunately got to get rid of the summer wheels and tires on this, even though they look super cool. But I have a question for chat right now. And I really want you guys to answer this because it's a really controversial topic for people that are either car enthusiasts or scene enthusiasts. What do you guys think of tire stickers? I'll give you my opinion right off the bat. I love them. I think they look really cool on certain cars. Now, if your car is like stanced out, massive camber, huge wing, park bench wing for no reason, that looks stupid. No matter what you do to it, tire stickers, anything you put on your car, I don't like it. I think it looks dumb. Properly stanced cars, not slammed cars also still look cool, but like properly stanced cars, wheels that are not like this, that are like this, straight up normal, that are lowered, that are both cool looking and functional. That's cool. But for this, I was thinking of just on the winters throwing some tire stickers on, just because I like them. I think they look cool, especially on certain cars, and I'd be interested to see what it looked like on this. I was going to do it on the old V70R, but I never got around to it. But I'm interested to see what you guys think, because it seems to be a very delineated topic. Either people hate it or they love it. There's no in between. So let's see.
What about tire paint?
That's sort of another thing. Like you can kind of color in the lettering, but I don't know. I like the big, chunky, blocky kind of letters. Hello. I like the kind of the chunky letters with a line, sort of like Formula One has between the lettering. I dig it. I think it's cool. But what do you guys think? We have Justin. I love white tire letters. John Augustine. What's up, John? Welcome back to the stream. Some look great and some not so much. John's the first person I've ever heard that said some look good, some look bad. You seem to be right in the middle. I don't know tire stickers existed. From Doug, I guess I'll see myself out. No, have you ever seen tire the tire lettering in colors that might not look standard? Like on some trucks, you have like white outline for like the name of the tire. Yeah, so tire paint Doug, tire paint looks great. Love when folks take the time to do that. Yeah, so I'm thinking of doing it for the winters. I think it would look kind of neat.
Do it.
That's my whole spiel. But let's go into SEMA. Chad, the one topic you wanted to talk about, let's talk about some SEMA stuff. Because I know there's some stuff we're going to show on screen that you're really excited for me to get my reaction to, because I did not see everything at SEMA, and I'm sure you did.
I didn't see everything.
But more than me is the point here.
Yes, and before we get into it, 26 over. Before we get into it, I just, that's a point of contention for me. You're a car dude who modifies cars and doesn't pay attention to SEMA.
Well, I pay attention to it. I just am not I'm not constantly glued to my screen for SEMA. Like, I don't know. I grew up with the New York Auto Show, so I really like the car shows that aren't trade shows, mostly. But I think to really love SEMA, I need to go there one year to sort of experience it.
Yeah, so for me, SEMA is the only car show that I don't know, call me jaded, but after going to the New York Auto Show and all this time, I get bored with it. And
thank you, Doug. I will put it towards not cyan tire stickers.
That's happening.
Look, if we get enough people that want to do it, I'll do it.
Fantastic, chat. You know what you have to do. But for me, the joy of owning a car is modifying it. And frankly, the auto show, the new cars, that's pretty cool. And again, it was really cool just to be there as a member of the press and everything like that. It was just super cool. But yeah, it just, that stuff doesn't really light my fire anymore. So SEMA is huge because, like, one, you get to showcase people's creativity. Two, it's all about modifying cars, which is exactly how it should be. And I think it's awesome. And I didn't look at everything, but literally just scrolling through Facebook, like, let's just say while you're on the John or something like that. Oh, look at that cool SEMA build. Let me look into that. Like, that's where I came across 90% of these and stuff like that. But without further ado, our first entrant, I'll let you know a little bit, but as is pretty much most of these, 1,000 horsepower. And it's from a company we know and love. And it's the
Bel Air.
No, it is a custom Ford done by the people we love so much, Tire Stickers. And that is the Ring Brothers. And they built this insane animal. Just an absolute, it's completely custom. It's
let's just say that there is no bad Ring Brothers build. They all are ridiculous.
Yes, and they are all awesome. This is started life as a 1948 Chevy Super Truck, or it is a Chevy Super Truck, but it's a 1948 Chevy that really just the body it remains. You can see push rod suspension in the back. It's got a 510 cubic inch LS from Goodwin Racing Engines, making 1,000 horsepower, and because of those trumpets, it's all good old-fashioned American naturally aspirated horsepower.
Yeah, those look like some really good shouty stacks.
Go. Oh, Justin contributed to the Tire Sticker Fund.
I was just going to say, Justin, thank you for the $1 towards the Cyan Tire Sticker Fund. We are now 2% the way there. So, it's probably going to happen anyway, so, whatever. Well, first off, carbon fiber steering wheel, that looks sick. I'm not a huge fan of three-piece wheels. Those look amazing. Those are ridiculously good looking, especially with like the deep dish mag. It's got racing slicks. This is absurd at every level of definition of that word. It is so cool. There's nothing bad here. This is just amazing. The shouty stacks, the engine. Look at that. Look at the intricacy in that suspension setup. Like, you probably put the best one first. This thing is nuts. I love this. This is something. I say it because I don't have the money to own it, but I would daily something like that. This is just like, imagine just driving this around.
Imagine those slicks in the rain.
Well, I'd probably not put the slicks on it. Remember in Formula One when they had the little grooves in the tires? That's probably what I'd go for. Get some sort of traction. But like, man, this thing is just gorgeous. The attention to detail is basically second to none. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, Doug is a big fan of the color. I actually kind of dig this color, which is weird because one of the upcoming cars here has a similar color, and I hate it. But it's Ring Brothers.
It depends on the car. It really depends on the car.
It's Ring Brothers. They know how to build a great modern interpretation of classic muscle. Yes. They've done it time and time and time again. I love a great individual throttle body build that just straight up velocity stacks in the elements because, hey, who cares about tire traction when rain is going into your intake?
Yeah, pretty much.
It's just, I love stuff like this. Like, it's old school enough, but completely new school. I'm a big fan of it.
It's cool.
On to something I'm not a big fan of, and that is this. Now,
this thing.
To the untrained eye, this looks like a 911 GT3.
Yes, but pay attention to the paint scheme.
Right, and to the slightly trained rally fan, that is Subaru colors, or I think it's actually a cigarette company's colors, as most great liveries are.
555.
Think about it, like just how many great liveries came from that. Mm-hmm. But at any rate,
#Marlboro.
Now you can tell from this picture that it's not a Porsche intake, and there's a turbocharger to it, And that's
Yep.
because the glorious, awesome piece that is the Porsche Flat 6 is STI'd. If it hasn't given it away by now, this is a 911 with Subaru power. I know.
Yeah. So I'm with you. Here's the thing. I'm a former Subaru owner. I love Subaru WRXs. I love STIs. I like Subaru performance. I think it's really cool. The sound is awesome. I like it when they're in Subarus. The end. Why? So like, this is a cool car. The wide body's done really nicely. The wheels look great. I like the paint scheme. Obviously, it's very cool and retro rally, specifically to Subaru. But the problem is, like, you took a horizontal engine and put another horizontal engine in. That's boring. Like, I know that there are LS swaps for Porsches in there, but like, why not like a horizontally opposed, Ferrari, V8 or I don't know, something crazy. Like, I get it, and this is probably engineered very well, but like, I don't know. I look at that and I'm just like, that's dumb. Put the Porsche engine back in. What are you doing?
Yeah, no. Christian goes with just no. Bryce, what's up? Welcome to the stream. Doug says we should buy a Chevy and put a Volvo red block in it, maybe two. Actually, one of the cars coming up we would obviously like to mimic. Actually, I think a few of these. But yeah, so here's the thing. One, this was done by where the hell did it go? DevSpeed, if that wasn't obvious. Look, the quality of the build is amazing. That color is glorious on a 911. It's really, really nice.
Yes.
The wheels are okay. I'm not a big fan of chrome lips, but whatever, to each their own. A wide body 911 is just a thing. It's pure, beautiful essence. This, again, like, if you're going to go through the effort of this level of build,
Yeah. It's ruined by the engine.
it just is.
Stop
Just is, and I don't. I guess. I mean, I don't know. I don't think we have to say much more than that. That being said, I think that color would look epic on the Mustang.
Yes, I do too. That would be awesome. Just that, like, it's almost like, it's not like quite a Polestar blue,
It's a
not
little
like
deeper.
a Rebel blue, but it's also not like a World Rally blue either. It's like right in between those two colors. It's a little deeper than Polestar, a little brighter than like a World Rally blue. It's a really nice color. Big fan.
So, the next one up that we're going to talk about, and this is actually not a SEMA specific build. It's a heritage car. It's a car that was built to possibly think about going into the world Rally Championship. It is a Volkswagen Golf A59 prototype. This was something Volkswagen built when they were considering entering the 1994 World Rally Championship. I love rally cars.
Didn't get to see
I'm
it.
a big fan.
This is actually just at the FCP show that I went to.
Oh, well then continue.
Well, I didn't get to see it, unfortunately. But I was just saying, like, I saw FCP Euro's Instagram stories. They had it up there. I actually didn't see where it was. I went all over that show. I couldn't find it. But it's a really cool car.
I mean, it looks like Volkswagen said, wait a minute. The Lancia Delta Integrale looks like a Golf. Let's do it.
Pretty much, with that like vertical,
The wing really,
little hatchback wing.
and it's a wide body, so automatically it looks good. I just like the functionality of where do we need vents in the hood? 3 spots.
Yes.
No more.
Yep. Yes. Yeah, this was literally like a car that Volkswagen was like, okay, what can we do with the resources at our disposal? And this is what they came up with. And the thing is just, it's awesome. I wish I would have saved some of those stories, because they talked about this car in depth, and the engineering behind it is just bananas for the time period. So it's very, very cool. If you find it online, please watch it wherever you find it, because the thing is, like, it is truly special.
Yeah, it's real. Like I said, that era of rally gave us some of the most awesome cars, and even though this didn't compete, this is pretty darn awesome. Kind of wish Andrew was here because we're talking about a Volkswagen Golf GTI rally thing,
Yes.
but
Yeah, where's Kaiser
yeah,
at?
he's just gonna have to wait and catch the what you call it stream
The
highlight.
VOD.
That's what we do here.
Yes, that's right.
So, but yeah, this is correct. This is I love this source. This is basically modding at a factory level, which I love it when
Which
factories
is cool.
think like us. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah, agree. Yeah, it's a neat car.
So let's go to. All right, we'll go with this one that might actually. Well, I'll just show it. So we have another car. If loyal fans of the viewers know those should know those colors. That's Bob Sharp Racing colors. That is a Datsun Sunny that is electric from the powerhouse that is the Nissan Leaf. I love electric resto mods. I think in a vehicle like this that isn't like a classic, I think it's a great idea. It makes me interested in a Nissan Sunny when I otherwise wouldn't be. I don't know. You probably love it.
Yeah, I do love it. I think it's awesome. I would not put a Nissan Leaf powertrain in here. I would probably put like the low grade, Tesla Model 3.
This
In
was
there
done
just with
by
a little bit
Nissan,
more
though.
oomph.
Just keep that in mind.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize it was just a Nissan build. So they have reason for it. Cool. Either way, it's still cool. The build itself looks awesome. Fender flares, very cool. Turbofan wheels, very cool. I mean, everything about this is really awesome. The quad headlights, the rear mirrors on the front fenders, everything about this is just awesome. I'm a huge fan. Other than the Nissan Leaf powertrain, but knowing that it was made by Nissan, fine, I can get over that. Regardless, this is pretty sick.
Doug
I'm a big fan of that.
Doug puts it right. The Leaf still might double the power of what that thing came out of factory.
Oh, yeah. Oh, 100%. I mean, what did Sunnies have? Like a 50, 60 horsepower engine? They had nothing.
Next to nothing. But here's some of the highlights. It has an adapter on it that allows the, according to this article, stock manual gearbox. So this thing is actually a manual.
Ooh, interesting.
It retains the live rear axle and a custom aluminum drive shaft to transfer the power. And again, the motor and battery are taken directly from the Leaf with absolutely no modification. So good news is, if you have a Leaf, you're capable of making this.
That's
sure
not a bad trade-off.
Not sure there's much crossover there, but I digress.
Yeah.
The entirety that is the front suspension of this is straight out of an S13 240 for those of us who speak American.
That's cool.
It's look at it. It may not make a ton of power, but the instant torque, as we saw in Electricana, it's got to be crazy fun to drive. And I originally I didn't like the fact that it was using Bob Sharp Racing colors, but it's a cool use of an otherwise boring powertrain.
Yeah.
So consider me on board.
Yeah. Imagine driving this to a local show.
Right.
Every single person would stop and come talk to you. There isn't a single person at that show that wouldn't be like, "Oh, what is this?" Everyone would want to know what this is. Not that you should do it for like local meet clout or whatever, but like it's a conversation piece. Like you bring this to a show, and I mean, obviously they brought it to SEMA and everyone's talking about it, but like, you bring this to like a normal show, people are gonna be like, "Holy shit, this is amazing! What is this thing?" That's just neat.
Yeah, absolutely. I dig the hell out of it.
Yeah, I'm a big fan.
So before we get into the next one, we're gonna have to go back to Greg being entertaining. I just want to check on a technical thing real.
Cool. Sounds good. So let's get into some comments. We will go all the way back to the 911 build. Doug had said it's down market trash. Let's be honest. I mean, if you're swapping out a Porsche engine for a Subaru engine, I'm a Subaru fan. I can't argue with that. That is accurate. Porsche makes better engines than Subaru. That's just a fact of life. Correct. I agree. Trash? I don't know if it's trash, but it's 100% down market, and it's not exactly the best swap. Um, let's see. Christian, welcome back. I didn't say hello. How's it going, man? Yes, that's an LS. It's acceptable. So 911 with an LS, of course, Christian's going to be like, okay. Let's see. Miguel on the VW looks like a Corrado and a rabbit had a VW child. That's actually pretty. That's pretty accurate, I'd say. I think that's a pretty good summation of what that car says. Worse cars have gotten it on together. Yes, like the Nissan Murano and a convertible of any kind. Christian said that looked like a Japanese VW. Yeah, it did actually. It did very much look like a JDM sort of VW composite. Really good thing. And Mark, what's up, Mark? Welcome to the stream. Mark says needs more holes in the hood. I agree. Needs at least 17 more holes. And then on the last build you guys just saw, Christian, that's dope. Miguel Torres, welcome to the stream, Miguel. GTR engine would be better. I mean, dude, if you put a GTR engine in that thing, whoever drives it would die. They would literally plant that thing into a wall almost immediately with how much torque and power it would have. I mean, what's a base GTR engine? 545? Imagine putting 545 horsepower in that. It's like putting it in a golf cart. It's insane. I like it. Let's do it. Hunter, shut up. Greg, entertaining? I don't know. That might be a stretch.
And we found the topic for next week's stream.
That's a pretty accurate thing. I'll give you an emoji for that one. Christian, sorry for the late join. Don't ever apologize. We're here for like 2 hours, man. Join whenever you can.
Yeah, but always apologize. Dang it.
You better be sorry.
Anyway, so all right. So moving on to the next vehicle. Now, I'm going to preface this one with, to our loyal viewers, you know an engine Gregson wants to play around with. It might have 12 cylinders. It might be courtesy of Mercedes. And in its ultimate form, it was put in, Pagani's. Because, duh. Well, Greg, your wish has been answered.
Ooh, so I know this one. That's a Zonda engine.
Yes, a Zonda V12.
So it's a Zonda V12.
12 individual throttle bodies.
Put into... Yeah. Can you imagine what this thing sounds
Epic.
like?
I'm going to go with... Wait, hold on. I'm going to go on a limb and say like a Zonda.
Oh, yeah, probably. Yeah, but better. Because I don't think Zondas came with individual throttle bodies.
I think they did, but it was very similar to like how BMW does their ITBs. They're kind of hidden, so it looks like an intake manifold.
Okay. But either way, Zondas are one of the best sounding cars ever made, so not a bad thing. So I like everything in the front engine compartment. Everything else around it, I absolutely hate. I don't like, and this is a very unpopular opinion, and everyone's going to trash me in the comments for it. I don't like FDRX7s. I don't think that they're particularly attractive. It's just an aesthetics thing. I think they're the most overrated 90s sports car. I really, really think so. Mark says that body design is, but FDRX7 aside, the body design is a little weird. It looks like a frog in many different ways. There's a lot of different lighting and holes and lips and grills and you talk because I'm not a fan of this thing.
As Justin said, light the torches. I think as far as exterior aesthetic, if you're talking about the big 4 or 5 90s JDM classics like GTR, Supra, NSX, I think the FD is second only to the later generations of NSX as far as looks. I really love the look of them. The biggest problem with FDs, in my opinion, has always been the rotary, and this fixes it in arguably the most spectacular way possible.
12 fold.
And I just like how they cut out the fenders just to make it like, yeah, it's a drift car. We showed the first 3 Fast and Furious movies to AI, and it told us to design a car. Fair. Um,
Oh, that's so accurate. What a great comment. It's so perfect. It's spot on.
um, Here's the thing. I dig the hell out of FDs. I dig the hell out of this swap. I'm not necessarily a big fan of the paint color. This lime mint green is just no, and the fact that it's
Yeah.
all over the inside too is just not a fan. There's the shifter, and Doug says shifter looks too tall to be comfortable. That's probably because it's sequential, and you just want it right next to the as you're driving. You want to just pull on gears. I love FDs. I think Rob Dom's looks better than this because why wouldn't it? It's completely custom, but and we're actually not going to touch on Rob's car just because. Well, we needed to make this into a. And we only have so much time, and we've discussed.
Yeah.
That is an
We need
epic.
to not make a 7-hour show about SEMA.
Maybe we should. Anyway,
Oh, maybe we should.
Rob Dom's car is an absolute amazing piece of engineering. It's an amazing sounding car. It's an amazing build. I love everything about it. Actually, I do love everything about it because I love four rotors because they actually sound good. It's insane, and it should prove as an inspiration to anyone who wants to learn how to work on cars. He went from being kind of a mechanic to now making his own parts. But this, I think this is. I love this super cool. I mean, the most like the engine probably cost as much as building the rest of the car, if we're being honest, because not only is it an AMG V12, but it's out of a Pagani, which means someone probably had a Pagani that met an unfortunate end. Like, but this thing's really really cool. I know you don't like it, but we're gonna go to our final one, and this is where we said putting Volvo power might be a thing potentially. I mean, we could probably do the shifting lanes version of this and put Volvo power in a MR2, or and K swapped enthusiast. Where are you at? I need to hear you. I need
Alan, where'd you go?
Yeah, but boom, that is a K turbocharged K motor, fully built, 1,000 horsepower, big turbo, in a Ferrari.
Yeah. What Ferrari is this, Chad?
I believe this is a 308.
Correct.
I'm looking at the wrong thing. Oh, there we go. If memory serves, this is the Magnum Ferrari.
Correct. So, yes, this is a 308. My dad actually used to have one of these. Not a humble brag. They were actually pretty affordable in the 90s. And my dad actually bought his right before the entire market took a massive dump. So he paid about 40 grand for his, and he sold it for 24. And now they're about 170. So not exactly the greatest thing ever, but you can still find them cheap when they are scrapped and anything like that. And that's exactly what happened here.
This, I mean, I love the fact that this has touches of the 288 GTO on it. I love the wide body. This is a case where I even love the wide body being riveted on.
Yes, there are very few of those, but this is because there aren't 1,000 rivets either.
Right.
There's like what, 6?
Yeah, and red block 308 with a prancing moose done. I would argue built white block just for the sound.
Oh, 100%. If we could do this with a built white block, I would empty the piggy banks.
This is just I
100%.
love this build.
Yes.
Everything about it. And the best part about this car is that it is functional. This isn't like a SEMA show car that works, but has all the bells and whistles, has a carbon fiber diffuser. This is a time attack car. So this car is going to be raced. And I love the fact that they took a Ferrari, ditched a classic Ferrari, ditched the engine, put in a modern engine, boosted it to high hell, and they're going to go racing against someone who might show up in a GTR, like a R35 GTR. I love that. I love when builds serve a purpose, and they're unique, and they're one of a kind. Like, I
Yeah.
thought when I
Of
first
all
saw
the
this thing,
cars,
K motor in a Ferrari, I was like, "Pfft, yeah, okay. Now I'm like, yeah, okay, let's go.
yeah, I want this. Yeah. No, I totally agree with you. Like of all the cars that were there, this is probably my favorite one. Actually, that's a funny thing to say because everything there was a car, by definition. But like of the not trucks, because probably my favorite genre of SEMA the last couple of years has been mini trucks because there's been so much cool customization in that realm, and it's like having like a renaissance, like a rebirth. So I think it's a really cool like area that people are sort of like getting into now. This thing is probably my favorite just because of like what you said. It's not just a SEMA build, there's function to it. The build quality is insane. This is something that again could like stop an entire car meet when you show up in it, but then you could like go rip a canyon like after the car meet. It's not like you just put it on a trailer and send it back
Or
to
go set a
whatever,
lap record at the
wherever it
nearest
came
road
from.
course. Like,
Right, exactly. Like that's cool. That's beyond cool to me. So I love this. But yeah, if we could do this with a 5-cylinder Volvo engine or even a 5-cylinder Audi engine, either one, Volvo preferred, but Audi, also just as cool, 5 cylinders. Yeah, count me in. I would if I win that $1 billion Powerball. Guess what the first thing I'm doing is
paying for your
this.
kids' college.
Well, I mean, yeah. Apart from all the normal crap,
Yeah,
like,
like,
oh yeah, pay off the house. Everyone at Shifting Lanes gets $1 million to do whatever they want with, and oh yeah, by the way, I'm building this with the Volvo engine.
I mean, after every normal thing is taken care of, after I have a shop with more square footage than I will ever need, I'm right there. Like, maybe mix up, find a different, maybe like, I don't know, a 355 and do something with it. Even
Oh yes, because yes, that's actually a platform that screams for a new engine. Because what's the famous thing with the 355 engines? Just to do like a timing belt, you have to remove the entirety of the engine.
no, the entire rear
So
subframe.
or yeah, correct. Like almost the whole rear of the car.
Yeah.
So like, yes, the 355 is a platform that 100% needs a swap like this.
Justin needs a Coyote. Not saying it doesn't. The 2J Swede, yeah. Drop a 308 body on a 350 small block Chevy swapped Fiero frame. I mean, here's the thing, right? If you're changing the engine, you really can do whatever the hell you want. So, as funny as that would be,
sure.
not a horrid idea if the dimensions end up working.
Yeah.
There's not enough things to say, but this thing is just so cool.
It's so cool. This is one of the cars of the show, and I mean we're in what 2022. I'd say this is probably going to be one of the top cars of the decade from SEMA.
I mean, how can it not be? Like, I'm going to say this. So, like, you have guys who go to SEMA almost every year. We know Freddie who goes to Varish. We know a couple other guys who go, and they bring amazing cars. Freddie's McLaren was insane. It was a masterpiece in what you can achieve just by working hard, right? He went from being a journalist to a YouTuber to a huge YouTuber and being able to do McLaren builds. Like, that's insane. B is for Build brought a shortened V10, or I forget the designation, but V10 M5 with a Datsun 240Z body on it.
Oh yeah, that was a great
Like,
build.
that's crazy cool. But those things, like, you haven't really seen much of them, and I would love to.
Right.
Or the what is it? The Burnt-A-Con, right? I would love to see more of those cars. Whereas this thing was built for a purpose, and it just so happened to be a SEMA car, and arguably the best one I can think of.
Those are the best SEMA builds.
It's just, this is, speechless. Like, every single detail this guy did to this car is exactly how I would do it.
Totally.
And I don't have much more to say about that.
Also, White Wheel Gang, what's up?
Maybe different color wheels, but in any rate.
I love white wheels on cars. Honestly, they just look crisp and really cool. Mark says looks like a Pikes Peak build. The more I look at it, yeah, that's accurate. It does look like a little
Well,
bit of a Pikes
that's
Peak build.
they share. I don't want to
That
say
giant diffuser and
I
wing.
don't want to say they share a rule set, but World Time Attack cars and Pikes Peak Unlimited class cars are
Similar.
incredibly similar. You see a lot of crossover between those two types of cars.
For sure.
And whoo boy. So
Yeah. Gets the old juices flowing, that's for sure.
oh, it makes my brain work. Like even if we do the poor man's version of that white block and MR2 Gen 2 MR2, I think that Gen M2s with a wide body look really good. Just gonna put that out there.
Yes. Yes, they do. 100% they do.
So like that is like I want the Mustang back.
I know.
Ugh.
I feel like you love the Mustang and you want it back, but you also want to finish the Mustang so that you can do something else. Because the way you talk about the other stuff, you're just like, okay, I got a 700 horsepower at the wheels Mustang. This is sick. I'm gonna go to the track. It's gonna be awesome. But yo, check out that car over there. It looks pretty good.
Oh, dude, like 100%. The two most fun things, or let me back that up. The three most fun things about building a car are the figuring out the car you want and what you want to do to it. Then there's the part where, like with the C30, you get to do some of the work to it. And then there's the part where you are finished with, well, let's just face it, that series of mods, and you get to drive it. And then you get to do it again and again and again. And then eventually the car is done. Not that I've ever finished a car. I read the How to YouTube
Mustang
by
will.
Tavarish manual. I'm sorry. But, like, and then you get to drive it. And then it's like, wow, this is a dream come true. I want to do that. Like, you know what I mean? Like the creativity behind being able to do it is like, let me put it to you this way. Mustang's by no means close to finish. Mechanically, 98% of the way there, hopefully by end of year or early next year. So 675 to 700 wheel horsepower coming at you early Q1 next year. And then, but even so, that's probably 2/3 of the, as far as like the financials part of it, done. And then I have a whole mess of body modifications. I'm going to overpay to get custom badges. Just the car itself is really exciting. Like, I love being able to plan and pick parts, and that's the fun in it. And yes, it'll be awesome. I will drive the living hell out of that car when I'm done with it. But we're car guys. The next project's always on the brain. Like, I'm sure you're thinking about 5 different cars and what to do to them right now, right this second. Like, just like, you know, Mark still wants to see a Yamaha powered V8 C30.
That would be ridiculous if that actually could happen. I don't even know if you could fit a Yamaha V8 in that engine bay.
I'm pretty sure you could, cause
You probably could, but it'd be a stretch.
Because they actually made a 400 horsepower, and when I say they, I mean tuners, Ford V8 powered rear wheel drive Mark 1 Focus. So if you can do that, and the Yamaha V8 from Volvo does have a narrow V angle.
That's true.
So down the road, 100%. I want to finish a project. Like, that's part of also the fun of the Mustang. Is like, I'm going to finish this before I really start another major project. Not that I'll even, I probably won't. I mean, at this point, little glimpse into the future, viewers. Next year will be Mustang, 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 help Greg. Mustang, 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 help Greg. Because we can't really go into too much detail because none of it's actually finalized. But Greg could potentially have more stuff in the pipeline than me because, well, let's face it, doing what I want to do to my Mustang is, well, not cheap.
Yes. Yes, there is a lot There's a lot of stuff to do on the Mustang, but it's all good stuff, and that can be paid through shifting lanes, which is really cool.
Yeah, and that's thanks to you guys. I mean,
that's right. That is thanks to you guys. It's to these wonderful people on stream. It is to the people that watch our videos, and it's to the people that donate stars and support us through the group. So you guys are all helping, and this is really sort of going towards a really cool goal, and hopefully a goal that I'll be able to announce really soon in the next maybe like 4 or 5 weeks about another potential project car coming to the channel. So we'll see. It depends on how everything comes to fruition. So that'd be really cool. Next thing we need to talk about. Do we want to talk about the 2 ridiculous crate engines that Dodge just came out with?
I think that's not a horrible idea. I also, I think that's exactly what we should do. Shifting lanes equal car strippers. It's okay. We like you. I mean, I'm not above it.
I mean, you don't want to see this, but I'm not above it. It's coming off. Let's do it.
Alrighty. Sorry, Chad. I'm just trying to actually refresh you. There we go.
Oh, they're gone now.
There we go.
And done. 100 stars to keep my shirt on. Done. It will never come off again. Except for when I take a shower later. But right now, it will not come off. I promise you.
Man, I feel like you could have held out for a lot more money on that one.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, keep donating. Let's go. It's coming off.
Demonetized.
Yeah, that 100 stars that Doug just sent is the last money we ever get from Facebook. Instant demonetization. Zuckerberg's just looking at her stream like, oh, God, sweet Jesus, what is that?
I mean, not for nothing if Zuckerberg's watching this stream. Hey, can you throw us like just a one-time like algo bump and just send our stream to every user on Facebook?
Oh, man, that'd be awesome.
Suddenly, Greg got the idea to do an OnlyFans. It's like he starts out naked, and for every dono, he puts clothing back on.
I'm going to start a website for car project donations that's just called Turbofans. I feel like it'll be pretty successful.
Test. Oh, that's still not working. Topless in
Was in a big lime green Borat thong.
Oh God! And I'm never eating again. Not that I'm a paragon of being in shape. It's let's just say the keg works for the party, not a bunch of 6-packs. But
right.
Let's see here. SEMA.
So moving on to topics that are not my junk.
All right, so
Dodge came out with 2 glorious engines. Chad, tell the fine people what they are.
All right, chat. I'm going to need every single one of you to type horsepower to make sure you're paying attention. But if I told you Dodge had a crate engine that used race heads and made 1,000 plus horsepower, race turbocharger, bottom end upgrade, the whole 9, which engine platform would you say it is?
Definitely the 4-cylinder that just went in the new Hornet.
Yeah, and also no. But nor is it the Hellephant with the 1,100 horsepower Hellcat engine on ungodly amount of steroids. It's actually called, and Dodge rarely swings and misses with these, but the Hurricrate, which is a version of the Hurricane Straight 6. You can get it into 3 different flavors. You can get it in a 420 horsepower flavor, which is pretty bone stock. You can get it in a kind of a middle range with 550 horsepower. Again, pretty standard stuff. Or double or almost double that and get 1,000 horsepower, which it's designed mostly at drag racing. its target horsepower is in the mid 1000s.
Mid 1000s.
It's
Jesus.
a race. It's a racing block, racing head made out of aluminum. Full race derivative. So this is literally a racing engine. Turbo, power cell, bottom end upgrades, the whole nine. It is an animal. And I can already hear super owners being like, "Oh, you just do the bottom end and some head work, and 2JC will do that, no problem." But this is Dodge. This is a Dodge straight six that's selling a crate engine that literally is not in any car, any performance derived car. It's not like this is something that's in like a small sports car or even any of their muscle cars or any of that. This is a thing found in, I think, the Grand Wagoneer and a couple other vehicles that's meant to be a family engine, and they're like, big turbos, aluminum race block, let's get 1,000, somewhere between 1,000 and 1,500 horsepower.
Yeah.
Yes.
Awesome. Good. Make it happen.
Yes, Justin, you did hear Hurricrate. However, with all of that being said, Greg, I've just given you the 242 wagon of your dreams. Let's just say it's in, I don't know, magic blue, has V70R brakes, like some suspension upgrades, and you could put one of two engines in it. The Hellephant with 1,100 horsepower, or this.
So the Hellephant is a V8.
Yes.
And it's supercharged.
Yep, it's a Hellcat engine on steroids.
Or is it a straight or a V6?
Straight six.
Straight six, big old turbos, and race engineering behind it. Gotta be honest, I'm still getting the V8.
Go on.
I like V8 noises and whiny things, especially if it's gonna be all right. Look, if it's gonna be a Mopar engine, and it's good, it has to be between these two. I really like how that V8 engine sounds. I especially like how it sounds with that big old supercharger on it, driven almost the entire range of Charger and Challenger at this point, and they all sound very cool. I'm going with V8 here. The six is really cool. If it's my money and putting an engine in, a 245 wagon of my dreams, I'm probably going to go with the V8. Honestly.
Interesting. I mean, you're wrong. I can't even say that. Like, look, there's no better modern V8. Well, let me rephrase that. There's no better high horsepower modern V8 that you can just pull off a shelf other than what Chrysler's doing or Mopar. But I kind of love the meme potential and the troll potential of getting a high horsepower Mopar engine and having it, what I can only imagine, sound like, an RB or a 2J, and someone coming up to you, "Oh man, what is that?" Ha ha! That's an American engine. Now, I wish they had called it the Slant 6 to kind of go on what Doug was saying, or not Doug. Where the hell did I see it? Doug. Wasn't the Old Scar Mopar 6 a redhead? I don't know about that, but I know their original straight 6 was a Slant 6. It's actually a very popular hot rodding engine, but I love the idea of just being like, "Hey, here's my 1,200 horsepower Challenger." No, it's a straight 6. I kind of dig it. Now, let me put it to you this way. Would I do something like that and say, I don't know, a Mustang? No, unless it was an EcoBoost, and then yes. But as far as something that started life as a GT or even a Shelby, dude, those Predator motors, man, they don't take much to get over 1,000. Like a pulley, a tune, and you're close, which totally mind-boggling. But again, I love the idea of a company known for making big supercharged V8s saying, straight 6. Oh, and did we mention we made it a race engine for why? I have no idea. What race series is this going in?
So here's what I would do. what I would love to do if I had unlimited funds would be to find a Hellcat or something similar that had a blown engine and put the Hurricrate in that. Because that seems like an ultimate troll. Where it's like, okay, well, I have this, Hellcat, whatever, Charger, Challenger, and you expect to hear the big V8, and then all of a sudden, this turbo inline six, like craziness comes out of it. That would be an excellent troll. I would like that, and I would do that. That would be my troll of that. But if I'm putting an engine in my own car, I'd still probably go with the V8. Can't hear you.
So you said Ultimate Troll, which made me think Ultimate Troll Build Off, and yeah, I would do something similar except put this in a Mark IV Supra.
Oh, that would be such a troll move. Oh man, you'd probably blow everyone's minds and make them poop themselves all at once. That'd be great.
It's just I think what is it, Chris? I think Chris might be coming up as viewer again. He's viewer X.
We're on YouTube.
On I haven't checked YouTube in a minute. Probably should. I don't know. I'm just yeah. Mark. Sorry,
Where's
Mark.
viewer X?
Mark.
Oh, Mark. Okay.
Yeah, it's just on my command and control section here. Remember what engine was in the Noble M600? Yeah, it was a Coyote. And then Doug says, if anyone hears...
It was not a Coyote.
If anyone here is a motor nerd, Chrysler engines, 1922 to 1998, William Workman, quality nerdiest read possible. Definitely. That's
great.
But at any rate, to kind of put a bow on this... Steve, welcome. How you doing, man? You're forgetting it was Monday. Oof. But yeah, to kind of put a bow on this, it's look that they're both crazy great engines, right? The Hellephant is, I mean, it's crazy you can buy 1,000 horsepower if you have enough money, and not have to work a normal engine. Just be like, I'll take that, and and it's plug and play and ready to go. I also think it's incredibly cool for a company that makes a straight six, and that's in my head, this is equivalent of taking, I guess since Steve's here, the 4-liter straight six that was in the Wranglers and the Cherokees and stuff, and somehow making it an aluminum block and turning it into a race engine, for drag racing, and it's
that's bananas.
It's just such a crazy thing to do, and it's why I love Mopar. It's hey, look at these electric muscle cars we're making, but also, haha, Steve, thank you for the stars. I appreciate that, my brother.
Oh wait, we can put those towards my
tire stickers.
My cyan lettering kit. Steve, you missed it. We're gonna put tire stickers on my winter setup for the Polestar, and we're taking donations for the color of it. So for right now, it's gonna be Polestar blue.
All right. Mondays are a drag, absolutely. That's why we're here on Mondays, to try to make it all the better, just to help you guys get over the Monday doldrums, blues, whatever you want to call it.
Yes, our stupid faces.
All right.
But let's move on to our last thing, because it's a topic that I have probably the biggest rant of the night on. And this is actually, I think, something that we both have a pretty big rant on, to be quite honest.
Right. Just give me 1 second before you hop into that. I just want to cue this up.
Okay.
So let's talk.
I will not make that happen.
All right. So let's talk automotive marketing. And what kind of got me down this path is twofold. The first thing was, let's see here. Of course, I'm clicking all the wrong buttons right now. There we go. So what kind of got so like I said, we're going to touch on automotive marketing here for a second, just because some of the things I've seen recently are well, let's just face it, infuriating. And now some of you might have seen this, and tell me if you could
Ooh,
spot the problem with this.
yeah, I was just gonna say
Apart from
in chat, what's the problem?
spot the differences, if it as it were. And no, it's not the top of the line TLX going up against kind of the mid range three series, nor is it the gold wrap paint versus oddly German white.
I like the color on that Acura, to be honest.
I dig the hell out of it, especially when you compare it
Yeah.
to white.
Yes. But look at this image, and in chat, what is wrong with it?
It's not the price
Uh,
tag, but you're on the
we're
right
gonna get no,
line.
don't give him any hints. Stop. Don't. Just let him. I want to see whether they can actually do it.
All right. Well, Greg's being the parent that believes in you. I don't.
That's right.
Prove me
Oh, I
wrong.
see what you're saying. Oh, I just see Steve's comment. No,
Yeah,
it's not the price tag.
that's right. It is in fact not the price. Neither one is a Toyota. Well, fun fact: the 3 Series actually shares a chassis with the Camry.
No way that that's accurate.
Nope. We got a winner. It is Doug.
Doug.
So this is actually something Acura put out to compare the TLX Type S, you know, uh, against a BMW 3 Series and take comparably specced out vehicles and to show off, hey, we're $11,000 cheaper. We're almost there in horsepower. However, the BMW does not have a V6, and as a major auto manufacturer such as Honda, they should have known that, or at least have a person who says, hey, perhaps let's check. This is
Right.
it's just
This
it
is
boggles my
terrible
mind that
marketing.
a major company would put out something like this. That it, like I do stuff like this all the time. I'm also not. I don't have thousands of people working for me like Honda does. It's just, and this got me down a path. Doug sells lots of V4s to people. I try not to correct them. Yes, but when it comes time to change the spark plugs, they're going to be mighty confused. Not that someone who thinks a V4 would be doing their own work, but at any rate, I digress. So this kind of got me down the path of automotive marketing in general. Now, yes, I would absolutely take the Acura. It's significantly better looking. BMWs currently are being designed by the blind with rulers. And the second part of this is, has anybody else out there saw that Chevy EV commercial with arguably one of the worst Fleetwood Mac songs ever made? And all it is just showing people driving. It doesn't give anything about the cars. It doesn't tell you range. It doesn't tell you anything you want to know about the electric vehicle itself. And to top it off, it said, yes, we'll use Fleetwood Mac, but didn't choose any song from Rumors. Sidebar, Fleetwood Mac, much better when they're arguing with each other than when they're actually getting along. Fact.
Very much, yes. But yeah, that's so I know why they chose the song. Because EV everywhere, and it was part of the marketing campaign with Chevrolet, but the EV in Chevrolet was blue because it was supposed to be EV, obviously, and everywhere EV. It was part of the whole thing. So here's the thing. My day job is marketing. It's in pharmaceuticals, and you can ask me any questions you want about it. Honestly, I'm sort of an open book on it. No, big pharma is not the devil. At the end of the day, they want to help you. They make lots of money on it, yes, but we would not have a lot of the life-saving stuff we have today if it wasn't for pharmaceutical companies. End rant there. Being in marketing as my day job, Chad's already asleep. Being in marketing as my day job, I see, and being just a car enthusiast, I take car ads to heart, and there are very few of them that are good in any way, shape, or form. Of course, you have like the local dealers that it's just like, Major World, blah 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 blah. We're gonna give you $1 million for your car. Like it's all that, that's that stupid voice that you hear that's way over the top. But this is the commercial that Chad's talking about.
And for obvious reasons, I can't play the audio, otherwise y'all will be demagged. So
yeah, we don't want to be DMCA
I do not want
on
that.
Fleetwood Mac, which is not ideal. But what you're seeing, I mean, without the music, you can just see like what's going on. It's a bunch of people driving and singing. It's just an unrealistic thing. Now, I want to equate this to what I do, because this is very much what I do, and it's sort of the epitome of what I see a lot in my job. Is whenever you see a pharmaceutical ad on television, what do you always see? It's people out in life doing their thing, being normal, right? Which is what we call, it's a life scene. So this is the automotive equivalent of a pharmaceutical ad. And not that there's anything wrong with that, because they're trying to normalize, in the pharmaceutical realm, they're trying to normalize like getting back to being you. And there is a total market approach that makes sense for that. But they're doing the same thing here. And the problem with that is it doesn't translate the same way. They're trying to normalize the EV for these people that are just happy-go-lucky, and they're, out in life, and they're singing and they're having a great time. But it's not different than a normal car. You can do everything in this commercial in a normal car.
Well, if you didn't have any of the EV badging, you wouldn't know they're electric.
Correct.
And I think that's part of the...
It's trying to normalize the EV thing when it's already normalized. Like, it's 10% of the market. Teslas are everywhere. Every major car company has their own EVs. We already know this. This commercial is not selling more EVs, period. No one on earth is watching this and that annoying ass woman in the back doing this, singing along to Fleetwood Mac and saying, man, you know what I really could do right now? I want to go buy an EV from Chevrolet. 0 people are going to see this commercial and do that. And it bothers the living hell out of me, because this is such bad marketing. It is horrible marketing. If you want to like market to a consumer base that doesn't want to buy EVs, don't do it this way. Show tech specs. Show people what they can actually get from the car, as opposed to people being out in the cars that they can't afford or get because they're priced out of it or whatever. Show things that they're actually going to want to see. Like, this is not selling cars, guaranteed.
No, and here's the other thing, right? So, rather ironically or unironically or what have you, is that's my educational background, is also marketing. And here's the bottom line. Again, like Greg said, this doesn't touch this. This is trying, in a way, to sway the non-EV buyer into getting an EV, but it doesn't answer any of the questions either buyers want. Range, accessibility of charging outside of the home, battery tech, battery range, service. Like, it doesn't address any of that sort of stuff, and it just puts a catchy song, and it does nothing. You literally could have shot this in non-electric vehicles, and it would have done exactly the same thing. And not for nothing, if they wanted the best possible advertising for an electric vehicle, I maintain that the best way to do that is to do a cannonball run.
Oh, that would be cool.
I mean, think about it for a second, though. Like, that's speed and endurance, and if they got enough money, I'm sure they could sit here and say, okay, we're going to be coming through this section. It would cost a fortune, but it would be arguably the best EV advertising ever. Why? Because you get to see the performance of an EV. You get to see range. So you sit here and say, only needed to be recharged, blah, 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 and all we modified was by adding X, Y, and Z. And they got across, and let's say it was a representative time or something like that. Now, again, this probably never will happen, but that's the type of stuff EV owners or people who are interested in buying an EV, whether they have one already, whether they really like the idea, or whether they're just like, in a few years, I'm going to have to do this. So I probably can only afford, like we were talking about earlier, a certified pre-owned. So the cars of today will be the CPOs of tomorrow. Like, let me just check and see what this thing can do. And all it shows is a bunch of people who I'm pretty sure had so many antidepressants shoved up their ass that it does nothing. Nothing. Not a damn thing. And it's just so bad. Like, I understand you come from pharma. And there's a certain level of advertising there and stuff like that. A lot of my background is in practical advertising. So a practical advertisement would be to sit here and say, we put our EV up against, pick something. It could be an Equinox EV and put it up against a 911 and do an endurance test and see who does more laps or something like that. Right. It doesn't make for a catchy commercial, but what it does do is showcase the platform and helps put some of the misconceptions to bed.
Yeah. So here's one thing I will say, and this is something that we didn't talk about offline when it was just like us or the Shifting Lanes chat. This ad is really good in the fact that we're talking about it. And that, in its essence, is marketing now. Now, when you watch a show like Mad Men, it is very like true to form, is like how advertisements come about then and now. It's late nights. It's ideating about new things. How can you pitch it the best? It's different than it was then and it is now. Obviously, then it was just like single products, and now it's like everything's micro organized and you're pitching everything at all at once. And it's not just like you're not just pitching Coca-Cola. You're pitching Coca-Cola and Coke Zero and Diet Coke and Coke Classic and this, that, and the other thing. Blah 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 blah. There's just too much going on, right? So, and it's the same thing in the pharma world. It's not just like you're not just advertising, Pfizer or Merck. You're advertising every single therapy that they make and produce. So there's good and bad advertising. There's really a 4 kind of quadrant approach here. It's like really good, memorable, really bad, memorable, really bad, not memorable, really bad, and just the worst thing you can think of. So this goes to really bad and memorable in that kind of quadrant, because this is a terrible commercial, but we're all talking about it right now. So it's done its job in the fact that, it is memorable in that sense. It's just like, wow, this song's annoying. Fleetwood Mac's a great band, but this song sucks. This commercial kind of sucks. No one's this happy. No one would be doing this in any kind of normal life setting in any way, shape, or form. But here we are talking about it. So it has done its job in a little bit. So it is good in that sense.
Yes,
that it's gotten us to talk about it. But
there's no such thing as bad publicity.
Cars, and that's where the kind of bad kind of comes.
That's the old thing. Like, there's no such thing as bad publicity.
Right.
Notoriety.
It goes into that realm. Totally.
Tune in next week to see Chad struggle with more common words. It's just, here's the thing though, like, it's just a lot of nothing. And the thing about it is, and the thing that why this commercial really annoys me more than it probably should, is that it's everywhere. And it's like, I see it on TV and it's like all over the sporting events that I watch. Then I come home and I'm watching some like YouTube and stuff like that. It's like, oh, you're into cars. You've done some electric vehicle research. Here, ingest this commercial 9 million times till it's an earworm festering in your head and you lose sleep over it.
Yes.
And this ad is 60 seconds of nothing. Oh, Chevy makes EVs. Duh, so is everyone else. Oh, look, people can drive them. Duh, so can everyone else. We offer a wider range of types of vehicles. Yeah, that's part of the appeal of electric vehicles, is that you have one basic platform that can be anything you want it to be. Anyone with half a brain knows that. Like, it's just...
Yeah, it's obnoxious. It's
like urban living, outdoor living. Urban living, outdoor living. I hope they all get stranded where they drove it and they have to walk home and at least one of them gets eaten by a bear.
Not in real life, in game.
Yes, but that is effectively what Chevy is peddling. It's like, go into the great
Oh, I
outdoors,
know.
you might die.
Pretty much,
Please
yeah.
don't stop sending us press cars, Chevy. Um, just real
uh,
quick, just to go through comments to piggyback on your pharma thing, Mark, our Christian, I think, is people are way too happy to have anal leakage. This viewer thing's going to really throw me for a loop. I apologize. Um, they're happy because they're rich. That's the only way they can afford these cars. Yes and no. I mean, EVs in general are coming down in price. They have to, otherwise they won't sell, and nobody will. I'm
yep.
pretty sure we all learned this in health class with cigarette ads. Effective. Um, Not proudly smoker. At any rate,
Not Chad.
um, people, Steve kind of doubling down, people smiling and dancing and laughing until the battery dies, God willing. Um, Doug raises an interesting point. When was the last time Chevy was really innovative? Maybe the EV1, where at the start was something and then abandoned it. I mean, Chevy's done some pretty decent stuff. They may not be innovative, but the fact that they got so much life out of a pushrod V8 and all of its platforms, pretty damn ingenious given the different stages they had to go through. And not for nothing, the engine in the Z06 Corvette is one of the most advanced engines ever made by America. So there is that. Doug goes, remember the classic novel? No. The Car and the Lady? Double no. Okay, I realize I have odd taste in books, but yes, cross-country EV racing would be pretty cool and a great marketing. Um,
Synergistic.
yeah, thousand
Nailed it.
points of light working together, one common goal. Oh, thank you for clarifying. The lady in the car, like someone who's as not well read as me, knows the difference. Fun fact, though, if you're looking for a great book, Shadow Divers, it may be about deep sea divers, but it's an epic read. Trust me on that one. Read it. Thank me later.
I was elected to lead, not to read.
We'll get to Greg's book recommendations after the stream ends.
Oh, I honestly don't read. I read all day. The last thing I want to do is open a book.
Last book I read was during Sandy.
Oh yeah, yeah. There you go.
I consume knowledge, but yeah. Steve, Evie's doing a cannonball is like morbidly obese people ordering six large Big Mac meals and then ordering a Diet Coke because they're watching their figure. No. I don't mean to disagree with anyone in chat because we love you. You're almost like our children. But doing something like that is akin to testing something new in, say, Le Mans, like Garage 56, even though it's NASCAR this year, which is awesome, but not exactly new. But like they were supposed to have a hydrogen fuel cell, like testing tech in the crucible of some form of motorsport, especially an endurance motorsport when you're talking about electric vehicles, is a great way to like say, hey, okay, it may not be here today on a consumer level, but it's coming. Look at all the things motorsports has given us that has gotten into the car: lightweight technologies, direct injection, high performance, and turbocharging, things like that. So, yeah, it's a slightly different thing.
Yep.
Christian's going, they're selling the brand, not the product. 100%. I mean, Chevy is sitting here saying, like, okay, so we did a Hummer and a Silverado, but look, other EVs, which arguably I would say they should double down on the big stuff, because if they can make that go a noticeable range, imagine what they could do for like a midsize or compact crossover.
True.
Christian asks, Greg, what is your opinion on the Dirty Mouth Clean It Up Orbit gum commercial?
Oh, good commercial. Memorable, not like the best thing ever. Some of them were kind of funny, but that Orbit was known for those commercials for more than a decade. So those all confirmed pretty good. Those all pretty good. Confirmed child, Dad. No, that's great.
Huh. That's where the pregnancy scare when I was 19 went.
Yeah, it was just Steve.
I want to test. Get me on Maury. This got awkward. Steve says, "Oh, guys, I forgot to tell you. I finally got the new AC compressor in the mail. Next thing to the Jeep after installing everything else. Nice. New car parts always cause for celebration, especially when they're making life easier. And
Hell yeah.
yeah, so just to kind of put a final bow on this, repetitive as fuck, annoying. As someone said, they showed a truck not doing truck things. Got news for you. A lot of trucks don't do truck things that are owned. A very small percentage actually do truck things with them.
Yep.
But it's just, this is modern advertising. It's just, and that's really all I have to say about that.
Yeah, there's not a lot of great ads anymore. Honestly, there's some good ones, but not a lot.
Yeah, so you never said you were coming home after you were going to get the milk, Dad. I don't drink milk.
How dare you? He puts the milk down. Oh, that's
well, only if it wasn't empty, I was going to drink it. So
no, nope.
So, have we upset the wife?
What?
You keep looking at the door.
Oh no, my mother-in-law was opening it.
Ah, in-laws, love them.
Yes.
Any rate, Greg, chat.
Yes.
Internet as a whole.
The internet as a whole? Yes, it is.
Anything else today? Is this be weird because you're 34? Yeah. Oh, that's good news for me because I'm only 39. Ha.
That's right.
Thank you, Maury Povich.
You are not the father.
Woohoo!
Do the dance across the stage, like moonwalking sideways.
Just throw $100 bill into the crowd because I can. Oh God. More reasons why I'm not a prime candidate to be a dad.
Yeah. Oh, also, speaking of that, for everyone else that's still on stream, today is my eldest son's 5th birthday. So,
wait, today's his actual birthday?
Today's his actual birthday. He's fast asleep, so I am not. I'm not being a bad degenerate dad right now. He's way asleep. So,
and you took him to the UFC fight last night, right?
I did. Yeah, a UFC Mickey Mouse 1. It was great. Mickey clocked Donald right in the face. Submitted him with a rear naked choke. It was great.
Well, I think Mickey did actually stun you under the Gracies, so that's not unsurprising.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, he's a BJJ master.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We got some.
Yes, we went to Disney on Ice last night at the Prudential Center here in New Jersey, and it was actually pretty cool. I've never been to one, and it was a good show. Every kid in the audience was like having a good time. It was just a good show in general. Like, it wasn't just like boring and stupid. So it was like the story of, they did Frozen and they did Encanto. So it was cool. It was great for the kids, and it was fun.
Nice.
And then today's his actual birthday.
Nice.
So yeah, he's 5 today, and it's weird that I have a 5-year-old.
So did he get like a present predated 14 years? Wait, 5, 14. Nope, that math doesn't work. 12 years. Math minor.
12 years. A car. So yeah. He doesn't have a car yet, no.
Yeah, but I mean,
he doesn't. We do have a side savings account for him that we're throwing like $25 in every pay period. So over the next 17 years, that damn well better pay for a car for him.
Thought chat pays for Greg's kid's first car project.
That would be great.
I thought Chad was buying him a Pontiac. I mean, maybe. There's a lot of cars. I would probably, knowing what I know now, probably get him an FD with an LS swap. Didn't see that coming, did you? Did you, Christian?
Yeah. He likes Dad's fast car. That's all that matters. It's cool.
Until Uncle
He likes
Chad
going
shows
fast.
up in an actually fast car.
Yes, but he can't sit in that one.
What do you mean? He can totally
There's no-
sit in it. It might not be, legal or mostly safe,
You're
but
you're doing a rear seat delete.
not yet.
He legally cannot sit in that.
Listen, the rear seat delete is like literally the last mod. So he can have it looking the way I want it to look, going the way I want it to go, and I'm sure I must. Well, I'd have to put it can happen. It will. It has to happen. By the gods, it has to happen.
Yeah. I mean, let's face it. My kids do not have a choice. They will be car enthusiasts and have cool first cars, regardless of what they want.
I like it.
But thank you guys for the support, and thank you to Steve and Christian. He had a great birthday so far, and we're going away this weekend as well. So it'll be fun.
Justin, how dare you? Look, Coyote won't fit. The FD engine bay is really, really narrow. And I don't want that poor kid to have his first car and see him on the side of the road in tears because some form of Apex or Side Seal decided to leave the chat. I mean, I don't hate LSs. They have their place. The Coyote is a more modern engine in every way and makes do with more. Makes more out of less. Yeah. It just does. Despite what Christian says.
Here's what we do. I have two kids. One of them gets a Coyote, one of them gets an LS, and we put them to the test.
I love that idea, especially since gas will be like $72 a gallon by then.
Let's hope for that synthetic.
Greg's garage is filled with like Ignite E90.
Steve, my kid decided she doesn't want a Mini Cooper anymore. She wants a big truck. Either of those are cool. Minis are cool, and big trucks are cool. So I'm cool with either one of them. If she wants a big truck, go for it.
I know if she's still here, my friend Courtney would agree with you because she's currently trying to get her big truck delivered.
That's right. Like so you can have your big truck.
Or just something with four-wheel drive. Like, I'm not picky at this point.
Yeah, anything.
I mean,
you need a car, period, right now.
I have a mode of transportation. It does the job. Every time I drive, the automatic lock sounds like a startled droid from Star Wars. But all in the option of finishing the Mustang, popping in and see what Greg's doing, and then saving as much money as humanly possible for a Gen 1 Raptor.
Yes. That
is the next year, maybe two plan.
I'm in.
My big truck is a massive pain in my ass. Some would say so are kids, so sounds like a lose-lose.
Can confirm. Love them to death. Massive pain in the ass.
Steve wants his kid to focus on vehicles and not boys. Good luck.
Good luck with that. Yeah, I was just gonna say.
Just picture yourself at like 16, 17 and how persistent you could be. I'm assuming. I wasn't watching you from afar as your father.
I like that this conversation has devolved into Steve being Chad's illegitimate baby at the age of 9.
There is actually, so this does actually remind me of a pretty funny story. So, God, this is almost 10, maybe even more years ago. We had this friend, and she had a kid pretty early on. Great person. Dad wasn't in the picture, et cetera, et cetera. But this kid was right at the... What's that? Yeah. And her son was just learning to talk and all this other stuff and didn't quite get the difference between Dad and Chad. So he would look at me. He would look at me and say, "Hi, Dad." And I'm like,
and you were like...
And we hung out a ton, and like, we'd go to like Walmart and stuff like that, like hang out, go to movies and stuff. Like, we weren't dating, we were just friends hanging out, doing things. And he would just be sitting in line being like, "Dad." And I'm like, God, I look like the worst parent ever.
Oh man, I forgot about that. That's hysterical. Oh man.
Justin, stop thinking
That's funny.
logically. If we're going all-wheel drive, I'm thinking all-wheel drive swapped turbocharged K20 EK Civic.
Cool, no. Look, I will buy both of my children Miatas as their first car so they can learn some damn car control. Then they can have anything they want after that year. They can sell the Miata, do whatever the hell they want. But I am very much car control and learning them how to do things. In fact, I'll probably send them to Finland when they're 12 so that they can learn car control from all of the Finnish people that put their 12-year-olds into rallies in the forest.
I don't know. Whichever one of your kids I like the best is getting an S2000.
I mean, that's fine too. Whatever. Any small rear-wheel drive platform car, Miata, BRZ, S2000, I'm fine with it.
Camaro.
Just let them learn some damn
Challenger.
car control and learn how to freaking respect it.
Bugatti.
Bugatti, which doesn't have rear-wheel drive.
It has that and other drive.
It has that as part of the other two wheels driving at the same time.
Oh my gosh.
Oh man.
That's going to be fun. Being able to influence your children.
Yes. Please no.
But Dad, Uncle Chad said.
You shut up. Don't listen to him.
And Kate's like, yeah, by the way, you can't see Chad anymore.
Oh yeah. Like Chad isn't welcome here again.
Listen, Steve, I'll absolutely in 12 years if I have the money and I can just buy Greg's kid a really awesome car because I got to imagine S2000s are going to be quite pricey by then.
Yeah, they'll be way above $100,000 at that point.
Sure. I'll give you something with an S and 2000 in it.
Here's an S$20 that I've written 2 more zeros on.
Christian goes, I pray to God my daughter doesn't fall for a guy like me. I think that's every father's wish.
Yeah, no, it's totally accurate.
Steve, she has a boyfriend. She's almost 9. Well, good luck and God bless.
Well, we said good luck, so good luck. Yeah. Oh, man.
So what would your kids drive in the winter?
Oh, my kids?
With their Miatas.
I would no. Screw that. They'd have winter wheels and tires. Same Miata. They're going to be 16 and 17, and I will not be rich. They can drive the same damn car, just with good tires.
Oh, lifted Miatas.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. Lifted Miatas are sick.
I mean,
the one that YouTuber made, Gingium, I think his name is, or Gingium, or whatever. I don't know how the hell you pronounce it. That build was sweet. I think he's still doing it actually.
Hey, the internet shall provide. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Just for men, because Gray when I found out. Yeah, well, Gray's distinguished.
I was just gonna say I got grays in here. They're peppered. They're salt and peppered throughout.
I mean, you can't see it, but I'll get every year, man. This year more than most.
Yeah. Yeah. Hear you.
Oh man.
Well, I think it's probably a good place to call it. Been on for 2 hours. You guys have been legends as always. Chad's yawning. I'm yawning. I have another hour's worth of work to do. Great.
Yeah.
Can't wait. So much fun. But as always, this has been super fun. We'll get into another topic next Monday that you guys will decide. We'll post it up in the Shift Squad group, and yeah, we'll take it from there, and there will be a lot of other things to talk about as per usual. Chad, Steve saying goodbye, and Chad literally cannot stop yawning.
Go ask your mother.
Man.
I like how I'm the most irresponsible one out of everything involved with shifting lanes. Like without question.
That's where the joke. That's why the joke makes the best sense.
All right, guys. Well,
But,
who's up for a question, or do we not have that queued?
don't have it queued. I've been just like kind of going back through the list. So I went back to the beginning, which was Hunter. So Hunter, I know you're still on. Thanks so much for joining again, man. All the support throughout the years, and for giving us our first topic tonight, which was a really awesome topic. We'll have that as a stream highlight on Shifting Lanes 2 eventually in the next couple of weeks. And yeah, I'll just go look at the list and see who is up next, and I will tag within the group probably sometime tomorrow.
Awesome. That sounds very, very exciting.
Yes.
I do enjoy this because if as you can tell, when I am in charge of topics, they have a theme. Pretty much any build related topic we talk about, performance topic, that's me. The sensible dad stuff is, well, the actual father of Shifting Lanes.
This guy. Yes, I'm the only one in Shifting Lanes with children. That's right.
Yeah, shocking.
Yes.
But at any rate, thanks to everyone who tuned in. We appreciate you guys as always. If you support us in any way, shape, or form, stars, etc., watching, sharing, so on, you're legends. And hopefully that group of legends, League of Legends as it were, grows, and we can start doing some really, really cool stuff.
Yes.
Next spring, we have some pretty, actually might even be earlier than that. But there's some pretty cool live streams that we might be doing that you guys are definitely not going to want to miss. Your friends aren't going to want to miss. Share it with your grandmother because she's going to love it too.
That's right.
So you're definitely not going to want to do that. So, but again, thank you guys so much for watching. I, as always, am Chad, and the gentleman next to me is Greg.